Jack it up.
Hey guys, CG here, and today, in our little Java game engine tutorials, we're going to be creating our main game loop, and we are going to be creating some game objects. So inside of game engine package, I'm going to go ahead and create a new class, game loop, and in here we're going to have a public void run, and this is going to be implements runnable. So in run is where the game loop will be. So in game engine, actually outside of that, here I'm gonna have a private static final void in it. And this is what we're gonna call. So in the game engine, here we're gonna have public static final the game loop equals new game loop. Remember, public static final thread game loop thread equals new thread game loop. So then in here we call game engine dot game loop thread dot start. So that'll start our thread, and in here we're gonna have a private static boolean running equals false. So we have a public static final boolean is running, and we're just going to return running. And then we're going to say start, and we're going to say running equals true, and under exit we're going to say running equals false. Actually, I may do that down there, so that all the mods get to close their thread stuff. So under game loop and run, we're gonna say while game engine dot is running, we're gonna do this. And after that, we're going to call, actually, we're gonna want to take this somewhere else. Public static final void end. And I'll put that there. So then at the end, we can say game engine dot exit, and then in draw window, we're actually, instead of calling game engine dot exit, it's going to be game engine dot end. So we say running is false, and this thing says, oh, running is false, I'll stop executing this, and then I'm going to tell everything to shut down once I'm finished. Cool. So before this, we're actually going to want to call GameEngine.start to start everything up. And then in here, we're going to put a try-catch for now. Exception e dot print stack trace. And then in here, it's going to be thread.sleep GameEngine.fps. Or actually, I'll put this in render. So inside of render, we're going to create a public static final int fps equals, I'll go 60 right now, so it runs at 60 fps. Now this code right here, we will definitely be changing this later, but for now, that'll do. So in here, we're going to call GameEngine.tick, and then GameEngine.render. So it calls all the code that moves things, checks for things, and then it renders. I think that's all we want to call in game engine, correct? I believe so. Oh, also in here, we're going to want to go render.drawPane.repeat How long do we have left? Oh, we're only halfway through. So that's that. So, also in drop pane, yeah, we got this, okay. Cool. So I think that's most of the core things we want. Oh, you know what we are going to want to do? We're going to want to add these. Mod.mouse pressed E. This is going to be mouse released. And then it's going to be key pressed. And key released. So all the mods are told whenever something interesting happens. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and close all the classes except for game mod core and game mod, so I have a reference class. So we've got public void tick. You know what? I think I'm actually just gonna do most of these. Because I can. And I'll probably need to exit. I don't think we have to do right now. These are the only ones we probably are definitely gonna need. So I'm gonna create a new package, .obj, and inside of it create a class game object. This is gonna be another static thing. So for now, this game object pretty much contains nothing. But first we're going to want to create a new class, call it obj instance. This is the one that's going to contain variables like public int x, y, width, height, and then here we have a public void tick and public void render graphics 2DG. Alright, that's it for now. And here we're going to have a public void tick that takes obj instance inst, and then it's also going to take, that's it for tick. And then this one's going to take graphics 2DG. This is going to be render. So basically the instance, since it has all these variables, you're going to want to be able to access them in the object. So this is going to work. We create a new instance of object for every different type of object we want. Then we create an instance based on that. So we're also going to want a public game object parent. Yeet. So what I'm actually going to do, so I'm going to go public void get x, return x. Could probably one line all of this, and this should actually be int. Public int get x, public int get y, and then public void set pause int x int y. This dot x equals x, this dot y equals y. Public, up here we're also going to want a public obj instance. And this is going to take a game object obj. And this dot parent equals obj. And this is going to be public game object get parent. Return this dot parent. And so I'm going to make all of these private now. And I actually want to make this class final. Public int get width. Return this dot width. We're going to do the same for height. This on height. And in here, this is going to be set size int width int height. This dot width equals w. This dot height equals h. Alright, there we go. So make sure these are private. These methods down here are going to be used to interface with these. So parent cannot be changed. However, all of these can. I'll keep going. So in game object, we're going to have our usual static, which actually I'm just going to copy this once again. And change mods to objs. Get obj count, get obj add, obj remove, obj remove, obj there, objs. Alright, so it's going to be the same thing for instance. Alright, so basically what we're going to say in game mod core and tick is going to be very similar to what we say in here. So I'm just going to copy that, put that in tick, and this is going to be instance. So obj instance dot get inst count and we're going to call inst dot tick. Whoops. Then this is going to be inst dot render g, and then inside of instance we're going to go and do it a very similar thing here. For game object dot get obj count, and then we're going to tick the obj. I'm going to pass ourselves into it, so that way it can access variables like position and stuff. Alright, so we render it, then we tick, and that should be that. So I'm going to create a new package in mod, and then that's going to be a core. Oh, I'm also going to rename this by pressing Control-Alt-R or something else, but, or right-click on this, hit refactor, hit rename. And then I'm going to remove mod, because that should not have mod right there. And if this happens, just enable it. We should be all good. And then you hit send. So Eclipse knows, hey, there might be something wrong. Please help us fix it. So in mod, we're going to create a new class, game mod core. No, we're not. We'll just do it in here. So down at the very bottom, we're going to have a private void register objs. So in init is when we're going to want to call this. This is where we'll add all the game objects to the thing. So in here I'm going to have a public game object square, or obj square equals new game object. And so then I'm going to go down here to register OBJs. I'm actually going to take this, and that's going to go down there. Oh, when it does do this, we want a public game object. We're going to go game object.add obj this in the constructor. So it automatically does that when we call it this. Yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you enjoy my content, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.